Has your desire for something ever caused you to do something you regret? Yes. So think about this for a minute. What is that? That's a desire for, that equates to a devotion to. Here's the thing, your devotion to your desire for stuff, your devotion to your desire for getting what you want, your devotion to your desire to spend in order to satisfy some appetite that's never, ever, ever, ever satisfied, your devotion for, your desire for, your devotion to your desire for, in those moments, mastered you. You were not the boss. And now you got that crazy lease payment you wish you didn't have. And now you got a boat sitting in a driveway or in storage somewhere, or some RV somewhere. It's like, we used it 4 times, then we got busy, and why did I buy that crazy thing? Why didn't we just recover the couch? Why didn't we stay in that smaller house? We didn't even need all that space. Why is my closet so full? Why do I have to keep giving stuff away so I can put more stuff in? Why do I stand in front of a full closet and think to myself, I have nothing to? Yes, why? Look up here. Jesus is smarter than you think. Jesus knew the chief competitor for the throne of your life is your desire to acquire. It's your desire. It's my desire for stuff. It has the power to enslave us. And when you are enslaved, you are not happy no matter how much money you make. Now, this is so obvious. In other words, that's why when I said if you bought something that later on you realized was stupid or that you regret, we all went, yeah. It is so common. Why do we do that? So real quickly, I want to explain why. Then I want to give you a real specific application as it relates to happiness. You know how this begins? This begins with this word right here, discontentment. Discontentment. This is a powerful, powerful thing. Discontentment ensures that I'm never satisfied with what I have because I know what you have and I know what there is to have. Discontentment ensures that I am never satisfied with what I have because I know what you have and I know what there is to have. The thing that drives discontentment is this word right here, awareness. As you become aware of what there is to have, you become discontent. As you become aware that they've upgraded and there's a newer one and a shinier one, you become discontent. As you become aware of what everybody else has, you become discontent. You can't even remember all the times you have walked through a mall or a big box retailer and you thought, I didn't even know there was such a thing. And suddenly you needed it. And it took you about 30 seconds to go from didn't know it existed to I need it. And you checked out with it. What is that? I'm telling you, discontentment is a powerful thing, and the thing that drives it is awareness. So a few weeks ago, Sandra and I are in Buckhead. We're coming through Buckhead, and we drove by. I had never seen this before. Which is the problem. We drive by this 3-story building, okay? It's a brand new 3-story building. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's a retail store. And in this store, they teach you how to restore your hardware. That's all I want to say about that, okay? This is a store. That's what it says on the sign. Apparently, they teach you how to restore your hardware, okay? Anyway, and I'm driving by this building, and I said to Sandra, wow, we should go in there. And she looks at me, and she says, because we've learned, she says, awareness creates discontentment. That's what she said. Awareness creates discontentment. And we drove right on by. And I don't know what's in there, and I don't want to know. Because if I go in there, I'll need one, right? And I'll convince it'll take me 30 seconds I didn't even know that existed. I need one of those in my house. That's how it works. That's how it works for all of us, okay? Now, the thing that part of what drives discontentment, our first word is the second word, this word right here, greed. Now, none of you are greedy. You cannot see greed in the mirror. Most of you are greedy. But you'll never see it in the mirror. Greed is that other person. But let me give you Jesus' definition of greed, and I don't have time to take you to the passage. We'll do that some other time. But here's what Jesus said greed is. Jesus said that greed is simply the assumption that it's all for my consumption. That's what greed is. Greed is if it gets placed in my hands, it's for me. And I may choose to give a little bit to you, but aren't I a nice person and aren't I a generous person because I don't have to give you any, because if it gets placed in my hands, it is for me. If you live with the assumption that everything that comes your way is for your consumption, by Jesus' definition, welcome to church, you are a greedy person. And then here's the thing, if everything that comes to you, think about this, if everything that comes to you is for you, you're gonna use it on you. But here's the problem. Greed is an appetite. The desire for stuff, the devotion to stuff is an appetite. And appetites, as we've said 1,000 times here, are never fully and finally satisfied. So if you're driven by discontentment, aware, and then you live with the assumption that everything that comes your way is for your consumption, you are gonna spend everything that comes your way on you, but you're not gonna stop because you're an American. You're Canadian, you're European. We don't stop when the money runs out. That is so 17th century. That's so 18th century, all right? We don't have to stop when the money runs out. And that leads us to our third happy word, debt, right? Now listen real carefully. I gotta go fast, ready? I want is better than I owe. Let's just say that together. That's a really big idea. Ready? I want is better than I owe. When you want something and don't have it, there's tension. When you owe something and don't want to have to pay on it, there's tension. We've all lived long enough to know which tension we'd rather live with. It is better to live with the I want and don't have than the I owe and can't pay for it. So you're going to be in one camp or the other because you're always going to want stuff. But debt is when you become a slave to your desire. Your devotion to your desire leads you to slavery, and you are not a happy person when you owe on things that you wish you'd never purchased to begin with, or you can't make your payments. And here's the other problem with debt, okay? I owe is between, this is important. I want is between you and God. I want is between you and God. God, I really want it, and God's convicting you and dinging your conscience and speaking through your wife and speaking through your husband, speaking through me, I want, and you kind of hear God going, hey, can't have it, can't afford it, don't do it, it's stupid, you'll regret it. That's between you and God. But here's the trick. Once you buy it and once you borrow to buy, now, here's the thing. Now it's not between you and God anymore. It's between you and a creditor. And here's the worst part. God sides with the creditor. Because if you're a Jesus follower, you have to pay what you owe. You have to pay your debts. And suddenly the God who's trying to talk you out of it to begin with is standing behind the creditor saying, pay up, I'm on his side, I'm on her side. And you're like, wait a minute, you switched sides. And God says, no, you just made a stupid decision. I warned you. So I want is better than I owe. I'm not a big goal setter, but in my closet I have a little cork board. It's about this big, and every year I set some very simple goals. And every year I have 2 financial goals. And for the past, I don't even know how many years. In my closet, on my little cork board, my second financial goal is simply this: stay out of debt. I look at that almost every single day. Now, why would I set a goal to stay out of debt? Because I'm tempted to go into debt to get stuff that I'll just regret being in debt over. It's pointless. And here's the crazy thing, you know this. The more money you make, the more tempting it is to go into debt. Go explain that to someone in a third world country. Try to explain that to your grandparents, right? The more money you make, the more opportunities you have to borrow more money to do that. It's just crazy. So every single day, just about, I look at my goals. Stay out of debt. And here's why. Because I don't want me and my family, and I don't want you and your family to trade your peace for something that can't possibly bring you peace. So, let me put all 3 words up here. I want to ask you a couple questions, and we're done. Look at these words. Discontentment, greed, debt. Okay. Which one of these makes you happy? Discontentment's like, you know what? I get to the mailbox and I pull out all those catalogs. I can't wait for Christmas. There's like 85 catalogs every day, and I spread them out and I look at all that stuff I don't have, and I'm like, oh, so fulfilled. Discontentment discontentment erodes your happiness. Okay, what about greed? Does it make you happy? I just consume. I like to consume right up to the limit. It's all for me. I'm just so happy when I'm just consume. We're gonna talk about that in a few weeks. No, debt, the more I owe, the happier I am. I get these credit card bills and I just think, I love my life. Thank you, Jesus. I love my life. So come on, this is common sense, okay? This is why you're thinking, you talk about this stuff in church. Listen, none of this ever makes you happy. So here's the application. Stop. Just stop. Just don't do this anymore. I mean, if you want to know how to connect your money and your happiness, you do away with these 3 things and you're just going to be happier. Let me ask you this way. What amount of money? Think about it. This is why the whole more thing doesn't matter. It's not the amount of, it's the management of. It's not the amount of, it's the management of. Think about this. What amount of money would it take to eliminate discontentment? There is no amount of money that will eliminate discontentment. You will be discontent no matter how much money. How about this? How much money would it take to do away with your greed? There is no amount of money. An amount will not address this. The only thing that addresses these 3 things is management. It's how you manage your money. It's who is control. It's who is the boss. And Jesus says, this is what's amazing. Jesus says, no one can serve but one master, and he offers us an alternative. He offers us an alternative. He says, no one can serve 2 masters. You cannot serve both God and money, which means there is a way, and many of you who've been Christians for a long time, you've learned this like I have. There is a way to submit your financial life and your financial world to God and to say, God, I don't want my stuff and my money to manage me. I want you to manage me and teach me how to manage my money. And Jesus suggests you can have a new master, and his last name is not Card, okay? Now here's the thing. I know, somebody got that. I thought it was kind of cute. It's cute in my notes, maybe not in the sermon, okay? Look up here 1 second, okay? Here's the thing. If you take, and we could spend weeks on this. If you take everything that Jesus taught about money, and you took everything that the scriptures that he read said about money, which is the Jewish scriptures. If you take everything that Jesus says about money and everything the Old Testament scriptures say about money, you can condense it all down to 2 words. And it's these 2 words right here. Generosity and wisdom. Generosity and wisdom. You go meet the happiest person you know, talk to them about money, guess what you're going to discover? They're generous and they're wise with their money. They're happy. When you contrast generosity and wisdom with discontentment, greed, and debt, I mean, is there any competition at all? If you want to connect the dots between happiness and money, this is the way to go. Now, in our world, if you're new to our church, you've been here for a long time, we have a little saying around here that we come back to over and over and over as it relates to finances that takes what the scripture teaches about generosity and what the scriptures teach about wisdom, and we put it all together into something that's so easy to memorize. In fact, this is the game changer. If you begin to restructure your world around these 3 simple ideas, and here they are real quick. It's give, save, live. Give, save, live. That is, every time you get money, you say to your money, you are not my master. I'll prove it to you. I'm going to give some of you away. See there, take that. You give first, you save second, and you live on the rest. You give first, not when you're asked to give. As soon as money, you're not going to wait for a fundraiser. Money comes your way. You say, money, I want you to just let you know, God's my boss and I'm your boss. God says give, so just to prove that you're not in charge, giving some of you away, gone. Give first, save second, live on the rest. Here's the thing. Giving always results in joy. Giving, you know this. Giving always results in joy. Discontentment, no joy. Greed, no joy. Debt, no joy. Giving always results in joy. Saving, this is so cool. Saving, listen. Money in the bank leads to peace in the heart. Money in the bank leads to peace in the mind, I should say, not the heart. Money in the bank leads to peace in the mind, or peace of mind. Let's just say that together. Money in the bank leads to peace in the mind. That's right. So saving results in peace. Debt doesn't result in peace. Discontentment doesn't result in peace. And greed certainly isn't going to bring you peace. And when you choose to live on the rest, you're financially free. You just choose not to spend more than you make. What a concept. Don't spend more than you make. And if you don't spend more than you make, this is what the Old Testament teaches. This is what the New Testament teaches. If you live on what's left over, you are financially free. And you drive around like I do my whole life. I drive around going, I could buy one of those, but I'm not going to. I could lease one of those, but I'm not going to. I could borrow enough money to live in one of those, but I'm not going to. I could, but I'm not going to, because I would rather be free and I would rather have peace and I would rather have joy than your house or a new truck or a new anything. And look up here. And to the degree that I can love a group of people I don't know, I love you and I want you to experience joy, peace, and freedom. And Jesus is inviting you into this. And more money won't bring this. The way you manage your money will. This is how you make your money make you happy right here. This is how you make your money make you happy. Now, I'm almost done. Okay, look. Imagine if you've been doing this for the last 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. I don't have to imagine. I'm so fortunate. I was raised to think like this. I have given first, saved second, lived on the rest, since I was in high school. I leased a car one time and I hated my life. I could not wait to get out of that stupid lease. And if you lease cars, I hope you're fantastically successful and tithe to the church, okay? So I'm all for it. But I hated the idea of owing someone else money. And I'm just telling you, imagine if your whole life so far, you had, as soon as anytime money came to you, you didn't wait for a fundraiser, you didn't wait to see children on the screen, you didn't wait for some commercial or somebody to tug at your heartstrings. I mean, you were generous. Money comes in, you give it, you give it, you give it, you save, you take care of God's kingdom, your kingdom, and live on the rest. Imagine if you've been doing that all your life. You would be happier as it relates to your finances.